and welcome. You tune into Your Trades with me, Ankita Saxena. In the next half an hour, we'll take you through how the markets shaped up today and what should you keep on your radar come tomorrow morning's trading session. Well, first up, let's see how the markets fared. It was a rather muted session as far as the markets were concerned after the rally that we saw in the last week. It was a breather that we took in today's trading session. Nifty was below 25,550. We were trading in the red. We closed the shop 124 points down. 25,513 is where Nifty shut shop. Nifty Bank also ditto closed the day in the red with cuts of 125 odd points. Broader markets gave a clear outperformance. Both mid-cap and small-cap indices were trading up 0.5%. That was the sweet spot in the market today, was in the broader end of the market, since benchmark indices were declining in trade. Sectorally also, we had the PSU back that was leading from the front. That was trading with gains of 2.5+%. Besides that, a couple of other packs that was in focus. There was a Nifty Pharma that was in focus. A couple of news flows coming in there. Alembic Pharma was in focus on the back of that US FDA approval. A big uptick coming in on Alembic Pharma. That was up more than 7%. We also had Torrent Pharma that was in focus on the back of the deal, a big deal with JB Chemicals. So Torrent Pharma was trading with gains of 2+%. Loris Labs was also in focus today. So the entire pharma pack was in focus today. Besides the auto pack also, where we are penciling the auto sales data to come out tomorrow. So the auto pack was in focus on the back of that. This is how the market was moving today. In fact, we also had the real estate and the auto sectors that were really under pressure. In fact, the FMCG by the end of the day was the top sectoral loser that was trading with cuts of more than 0.5%. So largely a muted day for the markets, even though they were individual stock movers, but largely a muted day coming in for the market. But let me get on board a technical analyst, Lakshmikant Shukla, who's the technical analyst, Institutional Research Yes Securities, joining us. Hi Lakshmikant, thank you so much for joining us today. Lakshmikant, a breather that we took today, after the rally that we saw last week. From here on, do you see the up move coming in, like a bit of a consolidation and then perhaps a breather for an up move on the front line indices?
Good afternoon, Ankita. First of all, I would like to say thank you for calling me on your show. Talking about Nifty, as we have seen a breather after 3 days of gain, and Nifty has formed bearish engulfing candle on the daily chart. But if we look at the broader, if we look at the overall structure of the market, which looks positive till it hold the levels of 25,250, from where Nifty has witnessed solid breakout on the upside. So we could expect that Nifty will hold the levels of 25,250 in the upcoming sessions, and it could move higher after surpassing the levels of 25,800, which is its upcoming resistance, toward the levels of 26,000 to 26,200 on the upside. So one can take as the buy on dip strategy, follow the buy on dip strategy, and if it Nifty comes near the levels of 25,450 to 25,460, so that would be the good buying levels in terms of risk reward ratio. And by keeping the stop loss of 25,250, one can hold for the upside target of 25,800, which is our first target. And if it surpasses this level, then 26,000 would be the next target. Even if you look at the chart of Bank Nifty, so Bank Nifty also consolidated at higher levels. But on Thursday sessions, as it has got rounding bottom breakout of the levels of 57,050, which could act as the strong support for the Bank Nifty. So holding this support, we could see that Bank Nifty also moved higher toward the levels of 58,000, and then 58,400 would be the next level, while on the downside, the levels of 56,600 followed by 56,300 would be the strong support for the Bank Nifty.
All right. Now, while those are the levels to watch out for, Lakshmikant, tell us what are your calls in this market? What are your top picks?
As we have seen a strong upside move in the PSU banks, and you were also saying that PSU was the only sector which hogged the limelight in today's session. So our first recommendation from the PSU banks, that is SBI. So we expect falling trend line breakout in the stock of the SBI above the levels of 825. Clearing this hurdle, it could witness sharp upside momentum toward the levels of 860, which is our expected target. So one can keep the stop loss of 799 on the downside in case of any blip. So we expect that till it hold this support of 799, and whenever we do get the breakout of the levels of 825, it could move higher toward our target of 860. Second recommendation is from LICI. So this stock has been consolidating near its previous swing high of 970 to 975 range, and it has also formed a strong base near the zone of 930 to 940 zone, and from where we have seen congestion breakout on the upside, as this stock has been trending higher after making higher tops and higher bottom. So we expect that this momentum will continue. So we would like to suggest this stock from the current levels. One can keep the stop loss of 940 on the downside and can expect 1025 target on the upside.
So two picks you've given us, two buy calls coming in, one on LIC and one on SBI. Thank you so much for that, Lakshmikant. Thank you so much for joining us today. With that, let's move on to Shrishti, who's standing by our charts with a technical analysis of breakdown and breakout. So Shrishti, tell us, what are you seeing on the charts this time?
All right, so we have got two counters, though both of these stocks are on the breakout side. Firstly, let's have a look at Canara Bank, because the public sector bank segment was buzzing all the way, and Canara Bank, we have seen almost a 3 to 4% jump in this particular stock coming in on an intraday basis. But on the charts, a very interesting setup is what we have spotted, because 110 odd rupees was the key resistance for this particular stock. You can actually see on the charts, the stock did manage to surpass those levels, but wasn't unsuccessful, or rather did retrace back, took a support close to those levels, and once again on its journey and the resumption as well. In today's trading session, the stock not just crossed that 110 odd mark as a resistance, but also moved past its 20-day moving average as well, like you can see on the charts, and hence we are spotting this stock as a breakout stock for us. Other than that, the next counter that we spotted on a breakout side is actually Natco Pharma. Select pharma counters were doing very well, case in point being Natco Pharma, almost a 4% jump coming in for this particular stock as well. But what was interesting to see on the technical front, the stock has been consolidating in a quite a tight range, but it has been making a higher lows for itself. In this particular trading session for today, a bounce exactly from its moving average is what we have seen for the past 7 to 8 days. A very tight consolidation range for Natco Pharma is what we have spotted, and the stock managed to cross past its previous highs as well. So that's why we have spotted this as the second breakout stock. So these are the two stocks for today. Back to you.
Thank you so much for joining us with the charts. Canara Bank and Natco Pharma and the PSU banking pack that was obviously in focus today. So two breakout stocks from those packs. But let's move on to the word coming in from the wise Nilesh Shah, who's the MD Kotak AMC, who's discussing how he expects earnings for different sectors to shape up going forward. He says that while some mid-cap IT companies are likely to outperform in Q1, but that sentiment remains rather subdued for the real estate players. Listen in.
We believe some of the mid-cap IT companies will be able to outperform expectations. Now, please don't confuse numbers with the expectation. If a bad number is factored in and you deliver better than that, it will still be outperformance. Consumer discretionary, bearing consumer durable is one space where we could see against earnings beating expectations. Banking and financial services, on a selective basis, we should see earnings beating out expectations. The disappointment probably is going to happen more on a stock-specific thing rather than sector-specific thing. Albeit real estate seems to be slowing down. The top end of the real estate is still continuing, but the mid and bottom end seems to be slowing down. So there could be some earnings disappointment over there. Correlated to that, sectors which are very, very competitive, for example, paints, there could be earnings disappointment. Commodities on a higher base may deliver slightly lower than expected earnings.
All right, moving on then to the pharma pack that was in focus today. A couple of news flows that kept the pharma pack busy. One of the biggest news flows was on the Torrent Pharma, that it is all set to acquire a controlling stake in JB Chemicals from KKR for almost 12,000 crore rupees. The buyout will be followed by an open offer for public shareholders, after which a merger will take place to build a diversified healthcare platform. My colleague Shrishti Sharma is joining us to explain the contours of the deal.
Well, yes, finally the deal for JB Chemical is through, wherein Torrent Pharma will have the controlling stake of JB Chemicals this time around, and the deal is valued at over 25,000 crores at an enterprise valuation. The deal contours are as such, wherein JB Chemicals is the entity that is being acquired by Torrent Pharma. Eventually, it will get merged into Torrent Pharma as well, and initially the company will acquire 46.4% stake at a price of 1,600 rupees apiece. Additionally, they will buy out 2.8% stake for the employee stake buyout, and the rest that will absolutely trigger a 26% open offer as well. Now, in terms of the FY25 EV by EBITDA multiple, this deal is valued at close to 25 multiples, but 1 year forward stands at 22 times. Now, if we look at some of the recent deals that has been done in the pharma space, especially those large deals that have been done, this particular deal is seen to be at the higher end of that range, which is justified still. Why so? Because there are a lot of synergies that will kick in on the back of this particular deal, because for Torrent Pharma, it will actually enhance their overall presence in the domestic business. For domestic business, where they have a market leading position at number 7, they will now be the 5th largest domestic player here in India, and along with that, it will actually help them go ahead and have their presence in some of the CDMO segment where they were not present before. Other than that, ophthalmology, cardio, as well as gastro, these are the segments wherein Torrent Pharma can actually do better in the times ahead. If we talk about the financials, yes, of course, there will be a substantial jump in the profit after the merger is through. Other than that, there's also a swap ratio wherein for every 100 shares of JB shares, you will be allotted 51 shares of Torrent Pharma. So all non-analysts do believe that in the near term, because of this size of the deal, there could be some pressure on Torrent Pharma margins as well. How they will be funding that, that is another key thing to track for. But beyond that, it can lead to synergy benefits kicking in with this particular deal.
All right, it's a big deal coming in there as far as Torrent Pharma is concerned, but there were a couple of other names that were in focus today. Let's go across to my colleague Ravinder, who's standing by with all the stocks and news. Take it away, Ravinder.
Well, Shilpa Medicare is in focus, where NCLT Bangalore has approved the scheme of amalgamation between Shilpa Medicare Limited and IM Technology Private Limited, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of the company. Apart from this, Aurobindo Pharma is in focus. The company said that the restart of penicillin G production at Kakinada facility post receipt of the consent to operate from Andhra Pradesh Pollution Control Board. Apart from this, Mahindra Lifespace is also in focus, where company has acquired 100% stake of shares Stone for 199 crore. Apart from this, Hindustan Copper is also in focus, where company has signed a MOU with Indian Oil to jointly participate in the critical minerals block auction. So back of this, Hindustan Copper is in focus. Moving to next, AU Small Finance Bank is also in focus, where AU Small Finance Bank has partnered with LIC to expand life insurance access across India, and this collaboration will support the nation's vision of insurance for all by 2047, aim at deepening insurance penetration and financial protection across India's unreserved population. Apart from this, ITI is also in focus, where company has signed agreement with BSNL for NER2 package 15 of BharatNet project worth rupees 1901 crore. And lastly, on back of brokerage note, RBL Bank is also in focus, where Citi has come out with a note on RBL Bank, and they have maintained the high buy rating and a high target price of rupees 285 as compared to earlier target price of rupees 230. So back of this, RBL Bank is also in focus.
All right, besides these counters that Ravinder just mentioned, IndusInd Bank was another counter that was in focus as it has submitted the list of candidates for CEO position to RBI. And sources tell ET Now that the bank's management sent 3 names to the central bank. Ankur is joining in with the details.
Yes, sources say that IndusInd Bank likely to have submitted 3 shortlisted candidates for being MD and CEO. Among the choices which has been given, the topmost choice have been given for Rajiv Anand, who is Deputy MD at Axis Bank. His term is going to end in August 2025. Apart from that, we also understand that Rahul Shyam Shukla, who is there at HDFC Bank, his name has also been shortlisted and given to Reserve Bank of India. And we also understand that Bajaj Finance MD and CEO Anup Kumar Saha who is currently MD and CEO, has also been submitted to Reserve Bank of India as being choice for MD and CEO of IndusInd Bank. Now, this deadline was at June 30, which was given by the regulator, and for now, we understand that 3 names given to Reserve Bank of India will be scrutinized by the regulator, and after that a final choice may emerge after the approval of regulator. We have seen that in IndusInd Bank in April this year, there has been several exits among MD and CEO and CFO after a probe revealed that there was an accounting loss, the derivatives accounting loss which was incurred and revealed on 10th of March, and series of resignation followed thereafter. Reserve Bank of India has approved a committee which is looking after day-to-day operations of the bank currently, but all eyes will be there who is the candidate which gets approval from Reserve Bank of India for being next MD and CEO of IndusInd Bank.
All right, moving on to another buzzer that was in focus today, and that was Alembic Pharma. That was on fire today after the company received the final FDA nod for an injection used in the treatment of AIDS-related disorders and indicated for ovarian cancer. But is this 13% up move justified? My colleague Shrishti is joining us with an explanation.
Well, yes, Alembic Pharma, what a move in today's trading session. Almost a 13 to 14% jump on an intraday basis, what we have seen. But the key question remains, is this move justified? As we know, the company did come out with a positive announcement as they got a US FDA approval for one of the cancer treatment drugs, which is doxorubicin hydrochloride liposome. This particular drug, if we talk about, it's having a market size of 250 crores in the US market, which is indeed positive. But the other fact of the matter is, because of this particular drug, the market share or the market cap of the stock or the company has increased by 2,500 crores. So is that justified? We have tried to analyze that what this drug really means. So this particular drug treats ovarian cancer in particular, and some of the other age-related treatment is also where this particular drug is used. Overall in the US market, it has 5 to 6 players with a market size of 250 crores. So assuming that Alembic Pharma goes ahead and enters this market and captures almost 10 to 15% of the market share, then this will actually not move any needle when it comes to the financials in terms of the significant contribution. That is one part. The other part is that the drug sales will not add meaningfully into the revenue growth. The fact of the matter is, yes, it is one of those complex products for which Alembic Pharma has got this product, but it remains to be a competitive space. Now, in terms of the medium and the long-term story for Alembic Pharma, analysts are already penciling in good growth for FY26. Some of the new product launches are rather 15 launches that the company has highlighted. But now let's talk about what they're actually targeting on the stock price movement. So Bloomberg estimates, and the consensus estimate rather stands at close to 1,000 rupees, which means that from the current market price of over 1,100 rupees, they're expecting a decline in the stock price. So these are the factors at play for Alembic Pharma, and the key question remains, is this 14% move on the back of this news is justified?
All right, that's Alembic Pharma in focus today. But let's move on to the cues that you need to keep on your radar before tomorrow's trading session. For that, my colleague Snehi Shah is joining in with all the cues to watch out for. Take it away, Snehi.
Well, yes, we'll be tracking lots of cues to watch out for very closely, and the first of the month means it's time for auto sales numbers. So auto sales data is going to be trickling in for the month gone by, so watch out for that. Other than that, back home you have HSBC manufacturing PMI numbers that will also be out, and PMI data will also be received from global markets, because from the US you have ISM manufacturing as well as S&P global manufacturing PMI numbers, along with JOLTS job openings data also coming out. Very important metric to be tracking to gauge the labor market of the US economy. In terms of Eurozone, you also have manufacturing PMI numbers out along with CPI, so watch out for that as well. From China, you have cakes and Manufacturing PMI, and from Japan you have S&P Global Manufacturing PMI along with the Tankan survey to watch out for as well. In terms of corporate action and board meetings, JSW Infrastructure will be trading ex-dividend, and in terms of AGMs, watch out for Polycab India. The company will be holding its AGM. In terms of other events, all eyes are going to be on a couple of important commentaries that we are going to be seeing. The likes of ECB President Christina Lagarde, Fed Chair Jerome Powell, BOE Governor Andrew Bailey, and Bank of Japan Governor Kazuo Ueda are all going to be speaking at a forum in Portugal. And Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey is also going to be beginning a 3-year term as chair of the Financial Stability Board. So watch out for all of these cues very closely.
All right, so we will be tracking those cues very closely. But with that, it's curtains down in this edition of Your Trades. I'll take your leave. Thank you so much for tuning in.